Good morning. Good morning. It's 12/19/24. It seems like we just was celebrating New Year's a few days ago, and now we're already in at the end of 2024. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Yeah, I've been away for a few weeks doing some traveling, trying to uh, prepare some things for my next phase of the journey, but definitely wanted to get back with you all because of some of the things that I experienced in that travel. But as we are talking today on House Calls with your man, Dr. Rory T. Edwards, we definitely want to inform you that if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can send them to our email, which is rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. That's RORYTEDWARDS1 at gmail.com. You may also send us a request for any concerns, questions, or consultations that you may have at www.rorytedwards.com. Now let's jump into today's topic. What I asked is, are we trading our consciousness for convenience? In a world where artificial intelligence is shaping our thoughts, decisions, and even emotions, who's truly in control, us or the algorithm? And why would I say that? Why would I say that? There's been a few things that have really jumped out at me that we have to realize that it was such an amazing thing back in the day when the computers first came up, and we were so excited about the fact that there's a new system for us to move through situations fast. And what we've become as a society, we've become a society where we need it right now. We don't want to wait for anything to actually transpire. When we ask a question, when we make a request, when we demand something, we want the answer right now, right now. We don't want to wait. And so that's what has given the creators of the technology the green light for them to go and give us as much as possible so that we can get our answers immediately. Now, some people are saying, well, we've been sort of induced with new technology, especially this AI. AI is all over, and AI is sort of taking us by storm. But the reality of it is AI has been around since 1954. It's really been being utilized in different forms and fashions that we really never paid any attention to because we've been so distracted with other things. The system of controlling humans is not something that you can do like fast and intentionally. You have to let people not realize that they are being manipulated, but you have to do it slow, you have to do it steady, and you also have to do it in small increments so that you would never even know it's happening. So AI has been in a lot of forms of our daily lives since 1954. Uh, so for many of you listening, you weren't even born when AI was being generated, and AI was actually being introduced through different forms of of I want to call it manipulation, different forms of manipulation and different forms of control. We got to look at certain things that have happened, and why am I asking that? There's a major thing that I'm really want to talk about, and it's the primary purpose of human emotions that distinguish us from robots is the ability to facilitate complex social interactions, build relationships, and guide decision making through empathy, compassion, and nuanced understandings of situations which current robots struggle to replicate. Now, why am I saying that? Why am I saying? I want to share a few stories with you on really why I'm talking about this today for people. So, like I said, I was traveling, and I was in the airport. So it was last Thursday. I was going to do it live from where I was traveling from. I was going to set up somewhere in the airport. And I was going to pull my phone out, and I was going to do a live house calls because I know I had missed the week before. But as I was looking for a place for me to go, in a place where I didn't really have a lot of people around where I could have, you know, uh, overspoke the airport nuances of conversations and moving different flights and all of the intercom things that happen in the airport. I noticed there was a gentleman who was sitting like in an area by himself, and uh, he was arguing on his phone. And so I said, let me go over here and see who he's arguing with on his phone, because one of the things that really annoys me are people who are on their phone with the speaker on, and they are having conversations with the speaker of their phone on. If you're going to have a private conversation, my thoughts is just that you should speak in the phone as you're speaking in the phone, and you don't need to share with everybody else who's on the phone. But anyway, this gentleman was having when I say a knockdown, drag out argument, he was having an argument with someone on the speaker of the phone. So as I got closer, I listened because I don't know if you all have seen the new commercials about the Google phone, which is talking about Gemini. And as you listen to the commercials, and I want you to pay attention to some of these words, as you listen to the commercials, Gemini is telling you that we can talk about anything. There's nothing that we can't talk about. And what does that do? That replaces the emotional connection, because people are looking for immediate answers. So Gemini is telling you that you don't have to wait to see your therapist. You don't have to wait to see your pastor. You don't have to wait to speak to your spouse. You don't have to wait to speak to your employer. All you have to do is ask me, and I have the answer for you. Well, that's what I just talked about, the primary purpose of human emotions that distinguishes us from robots. But as I walked over closer, I realized that this gentleman was having a knockdown, drag out argument with Gemini. With Gemini. As I stood behind him, I'm listening, and he is like really going into a serious discussion. And I realized that it was with the algorithm, Gemini. So this gentleman has now retracted to not even having conversations with humans, but he has accepted the fact that Gemini can answer any question. So if he's having frustration, if he's having feelings of anxiety, if he's having feelings of anything that's negative or positive, he's going to refer to Gemini. And that's the society that we are becoming. So I want you all to realize, how often do you refer to your technology in your home? You look for an answer. You ask a question. You're looking for an answer. Who do you turn to? You turn to your Siri. You turn to Alexa. You turn on your car. What do? You put in the directions, and the person gives you the information to get where you want to get. Now, on one side of the coin, it's very convenient. On the other side of the coin, it's very controlling. I want you to realize that. I want you to realize how important it is for us to keep our consciousness based on us being controlled in this new future world. And we have to look at it from that perspective. So there's a big question I want to ask you. The big question is, as AI systems increasingly shape our thoughts, choices, and realities, are we evolving into an empowered digital citizens, or becoming passive subjects in a world programmed by unseen algorithms? That's the big question right there. That's the big question. Are we becoming controlled or becoming programmed by unseen algorithms? I want to know. I want to know some of the things that you really believe in, the fact how much you use the alternative algorithms to design your daily activities. Now, why am I still talking about this today and telling people not to use it? Let me be clear. I do utilize it. I utilize the AI platform, because the AI platform, sometimes in doing some research, you can pull up some information that now you can compare to what is the AI saying and what is the research saying on certain situations. You can use AI to help you design some programming that may need to be expedited, in a timely fashion. You can do that. So I say, why is it not? Why is it not important? It is very important, but you have to be able to control it because eventually, as we begin more and become more, um, what's the word I'm looking for? But we become more in need of it controlling us. Eventually, it will control us. There's another thing I want you to realize, okay? There's a movie out there called Subservience, right? It's a movie of an AI nanny who a gentleman, his wife is in the hospital and he's having problems taking care of the two children. So he hires an AI nanny who then oversteps steps out of her AI control and she starts to develop emotions, which definitely cannot happen in this robot world. But what they do is they give us information to see how we receive it. And then they realize how they can implement this with us, right? So there's so many situations that we must realize. There was also a special the other day on 60 Minutes that talked about AI producing new photos of some teenage girls in a school. What they can do, there's about 150, 200 algorithms and sites that you can take pictures of individuals, put that picture into the site, and then create new photos. Or you can change the whole concept of someone. So you have to be careful, very careful on now what you say, because people can take the words that you say and throw it into an AI generated or some type of algorithm, and it could definitely create something that it isn't even you. And so what happens? You spend more time trying to dispute what people are saying about you versus how they design that type of thing to attack your reputation. Those are the things that we still have as human beings. Our reputation is very, very valuable to us. But people now can take a very small snippet of information you say and turn it into a whole video production based on AI programs. There's a few other things I want to share with you. I had a few years ago when I was driving Uber, I picked up a lady who was here for a cyber security conference, and she explained to me some of the things that most of us may know but may not understand. She was saying, why do you think phone companies created two-sided phones, two-sided cameras? It's because no matter what you do, you lay down your camera face up or you lay down your camera face down, they can still record you. These phones are not turned off when you're not talking on them. They're actually recording all of the time. So your information can actually be subpoenaed to court through your phone. So people who are having court issues can realize that you can pull up your phone because your phone is always recording. There's another thing that maybe people don't know. She says that if you have a newer car that has some of those navigation systems and things in the car that talk back to you, that your car is also recording your conversation. So as you're in the car talking on your phone and doing all that, there's a system in your car that is recording some of these conversations. So sometimes when you pull out your phone, you're pulled over by police. If it becomes very, very intense, you have a secondary option. People don't know. Your car is also recording those conversations. So these are the things that I'm talking about that are going on in the world that are being controlled by this artificial intelligence that we might not even be realizing is happening. We got to be very conscious. If you're saying things that you don't want people to hear, you got to be very conscious what you're saying. It's almost like you got to tell people a secret now to have a conversation with people, because no matter where you go, there's microphones all over. There's cameras all over. You're being recorded. You no longer have the freedom of your own privacy in this world. And people are saying, well, that's my constitutional right. You have no rights. You really have no rights based on this new world and where it's going. I really would hate to. I'm sad that I got to tell you that I'm the bearer of the bad news, but I really want you to be aware of what's really going on in this world. So consider this. I want you to consider some of these options as we move forward. Consider this. What am I really trying to say? There's ethical dilemmas. Are algorithms reshaping our moral compass by feeding us content that reinforces biases and limited diverse perspectives? You have to look at that. Is it changing our ethical dilemmas? Are we now referring to algorithms versus our consciousness? That's what I'm saying. Are we trading our consciousness for convenience? We are trading what the Creator has given us to be human beings, and we are trading that for the fact that I need it right now. What's another one? Autonomy versus automation. Excuse me. Autonomy versus automation. How much of our decision making is truly ours with when algorithms suggest and predict our next moves? If you ask the question, how many of you say, "Oh, sorry, what should I cook tonight?" What have you been cooking for your family? What have you been cooking for yourself? So what you're doing is you're asking the algorithms to suggest and predict your next move. You got to think about that. Let's think about the social impact. Has the drive for efficiency eroded human connection, empathy, and critical thinking? Has it? Where are we going? What are we going to do? What is the things that we want to do connected to this new thing called artificial intelligence? If it says it's artificial, that means it's being duplicated. Are we going to accept the fact that we were going to be replaced by these subliminal messages, such as the movie Subservient? What about the VR headsets that many of you are trying to buy for your children for Christmas, or many of you probably have bought? They take your child, they take you, they take adults, they take everybody to a different place in a different time, some place you can't get to, because it's changing the way that you think. It immerses you in a virtual reality 3D experience. What happened to dreaming? What happened to visualizing what your next move is? This is one of the things I want to say. This is what the positive, the negative side of some of this stuff is happening. It's going to do. And I want to end with something that I think is very, very poignant. Now, nature was created for things to evolve in the time that it takes for them to evolve. We are playing with nature. We are playing with the things that we say that were created by some higher being. And if that was the case, just think if the higher being gave us the lifespan of the mayfly. Some of you may not even know who the mayfly is, but I'm going to give you a little bit. I want you to research it. The mayfly is a fly that lives for 24 hours as an adult. That's all it lives for. Will technology reduce our value on Earth down to the mayfly? Now, the mayfly's purpose is very simple. All it does is cocoon. It's in its larva stage. It's cocooned. Once it evolves, it's an adult. The only purpose that the mayfly female has is to mate and lay eggs. She usually dies. The female, after coming out the cocoon, lives around or less than 5 minutes. That's all it takes. She only lives 5 minutes to deliver the eggs, and then she dies. While the male can live up to 2 days. But the mayfly's life expectancy is only 24 hours. Are we going to reduce who we are in the way that we were created by convenience over our consciousness? Because we are living in a world where I need it right now. I need it right now. And if you don't get it right now, you become depressed. You experience anxiety. You experience emotional stress. You experience all of the things that then, what do? You get on the phone and you ask Gemini, Gemini, why am I experiencing this? And Gemini gives you an example or a statement that is technology driven. So I just wanted you to realize that. I want you to think about that, because that conversation in the airport blew me away. I mean, honestly, you can't visualize how that conversation was going down. But that's the world we're creating for ourselves right now. So I just want you to know that for the last 18 minutes, you've been listening to your man, Dr. Rory T. Edwards. And today, what we talked about on House Calls with Dr. Rory T. Edwards was, are we trading our consciousness for convenience? In a world where artificial intelligence is shaping our thoughts, decisions, and even emotions, who's truly in control, us or the algorithm? So until then, I think I will not. What's today? 7 days will be a day after Christmas. So I'm wearing the Christmas colors. I just want you all to have a very blessed Christmas if you do celebrate it. And I also want you to take the time um, to enjoy and celebrate Kwanzaa also that takes place the day after the Christmas holiday. So I will probably be doing something on that particular day, but I definitely want you all to have a great Christmas, enjoy family, celebrate things, but also think about how you are going to move forward in your life in a world that is putting us in a very, very advanced and fast moving pace. All right? So, thank you once again. And I definitely like to say thank you for listening to the good Dr. Valerie Ingram and also my good friend from the great state of Maine, Ricky Long. Thank you very much. You all be blessed. Have a happy holidays. And until we talk again, stay blessed and Ashe.